Tings and yeah, my name's Multiplier. This is a tutorial on how to make stuff wide using isotope ozone. Or yeah, I guess if you listen to the theory, you can do this using any plugins. Oh, cool! My friend Sam Duke learnt Nolly no comply, shove it to Ghost Rider kickflip. Nice one, Sam. Shut up. Go away. Yeah, so isotope. Oh, I lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah, isotope ozone. I'm going to show you how to make stuff wide using that because we all have it for mastering because it's super popular. And even if you don't have it and you click this by accident because you're, I don't know, drunk or your friend clicked it, might as well listen to theory because it applies no matter what plugins or yeah, whatever you have. And it's kind of a simple concept, but you need to understand it if you want to do good mixes, because a lot of people ask me stuff like, how do you make your mixes good? Well, it's a lot of things you need to learn and there's no short way of doing it. And one of the things you need to know about if you want to make good mixes is the idea of the stereo image, making stuff wide, making stuff narrow. And if you understand it, well, you need to know how to do it. So let's say you have a mono like sound like I have here and you want to make it wide, you need to know how to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, that's probably a rambly intro, but that's what I always do with these videos. So before I explain the theory, because that will probably bore half of you to death, shut up, Facebook. I'll show you basically what you do very quickly. Now, you have your track, double click Ozone or drag it in, whatever you like doing. Close the main presets, go to stereo imaging, click on, everybody guessed that bit, click this button, that chooses the presets if you didn't know that. And you basically want to choose one of two, either phasey width or widespread. Let's just choose one randomly in this case. Click it and then drag this left to right to determine how wide you want it. Boom, that's it. How easy was that? And that's why you want to use Ozone. Nice and simple, looks pretty. Especially if you have the Ozone 5 Advanced, you can just drag it out module by module and not have to have this CPU intensive thing running. So yeah, that's what all you want to do. Simple as that. Now don't moan that I ramble too much because I've shown you what to do. And now what I consider the important bit, the theory, because if you don't know the theory, you're not going to know which of the two presets to press and it will just kind of confuse you a bit as to what you're doing. So pay attention now, put your thinking cap or whatever else on, thinking flat cap if you're gangster and shit. So I'm going to explain to you what's going on. Right, there's basically you have a left speaker and a right speaker, or left channel, right channel, and from that information your brain creates like a 2 or 3D kind of stereo image. 2D or 3D depends on what you count as dimension, but yeah, as you can probably tell if you listen to good music, some stuff sounds like it's coming from the center, some stuff sounds like it's coming from the sides, and some stuff's in between the two. Now what's going on there is, if the sound from the left speaker is exactly the same as the sound from the right speaker, your brain thinks it's central or mono, and it sounds like it's coming from the middle. But if the sound is coming out of one speaker is not the same that it's coming out of the other speaker, it sounds wide. Now, whether or not it sounds like it's coming from the left or the right, or whether or not like a synth sound sounds like it's coming quote unquote wide, depends on how similar the sound on the left is to the right. Now, what this once you have that idea in your head, it's a really important one. You can start kind of illustrating it with this utility plugin. So just get rid of Ozone. I'm sure it's the same in other DAWs, but in Ableton Live you have utility plugin, and with this width thing you can drag it down or up. Now 100% is the exact same signal as it comes in. If you drag it down to 0, that will get rid of all the stereo information and just leave the stuff in the center. And if you drag it up to the top, it will get rid of everything in the center and leave everything on the sides. Now, what that's useful for is when you're experimenting with the with what I'm about to show you, or if you're just not sure what's on the side, what's in the center, you can very easily just drag this up and down to kind of precisely see, because it can be quite difficult to hear whether or not there's like a subtle side information, or whether or not, say, there's bass in the center or bass on the side. So yeah, just play around with this. For example, this mono sound, as I drag this up and down, you'll be able to hear the difference. See, that makes sense? Because it's at 200, which is gets rid of all the middle information, just leaves the side, and there's nothing there because this is mono. So that makes sense. And then similarly with the stereo thing, and that also proves that this is a stereo thing and that's a mono thing. Right. It's a useful little utility trick. So if you're new to it, that alone was probably worth this tutorial. So, Ozone, now the important bit. So you drag it on. Let's just move utility to the other side. What's the difference? This is the important bit between phasey width and widespread. Well, basically, phasey width creates width by delaying one side to the other side. So what that will do is very, very slightly it will delay one side, and then that will trick your brain into thinking it's wide, because the sound on the left isn't exactly the same as the sound on the right, but because they're the same sound and they're so close together, your brain gets all confused and it's like, what the fuck is going on? I'm stupid on a brain and that, and then it all thinks it's wide. Don't really know. Psychoacoustics. I can't even say the word. Just Google like brain stereo image if you want the science. But yeah, phasey width creates phase problems because it delays one side to the other, and it allows you to create a wide signal from a mono signal. So in this case, because we have a mono one, we would want phasey width, and that's when you choose that one. It's worth noting the phasey width thing, don't add it to a complete track, because then you will get phase issues when you play out through a mono system. But if you just if you got a weird little effect or a sound in the mix that you just want to make that mono thing wider, or that mostly mono thing wider, phasey width is perfectly fine. You won't run into any problems. Obviously, there are a few things like kick drums, just that should be kind of obvious. Don't use it on that, because take it to a club, it'll just go mental. So but yeah, you can use it on more things than a lot of people will tell you without having any issues. But again, it's one of those things, it's just something you have to be aware of. When you do use phasey width, you will potentially run into problems, so you just need to kind of double check that you don't. Most of the time it is fine though, but you do need to be aware of it. And whereas this widespread thing, what that does is it simply takes, in different bands, it takes the information on the sides and makes it louder and leaves the middle bit the same. So that kind of makes sense, right? That then it would sound wider if the wider bits are made louder and the middle bits aren't. Yeah, and then these sliders are kind of obvious. It works just like utility, in fact, except in bands. So drag it down to the middle, and then it just leaves the mono bit. Drag it up to the top, just leaves the top bit, or the wide bits. Then you can play around with it in an obvious way. So yeah, that's the two different things you want to play with. Yeah, so for example, if it was mono, you would use phasey stuff. If you do have a pretty stereo sound that you just want to tweak the kind of width on it, then you would use this widespread thing, and then possibly change the amount that each band does depending on what you want to do and what sound you're playing with. But the standard way to do dance music is you want the higher frequency stuff to be wider than the lower frequency in like a pyramid shape. That's pretty standard. In fact, it's pretty standard over most of music. Obviously, rules are meant to be broken, but yeah, you do pretty much want kind of the bass mostly in the center, and then the mid or the lower mids to be kind of slightly wider, and then the mids to be slightly wider than that, and so on until you get to the high frequencies, the very top, that are just pretty much all at the sides. It's the standard way to do it. So yeah, I'm not actually I was gonna give you examples by kind of running various kind of settings through this mono shit and the stereo shit, but to be honest, it's going to be more useful for you if you you have a play yourself. Get out a sound, get a mono one, a stereo one, put a utility after isotope, start off with maybe the widespread, play around with it, play around with those sliders like I told you, and then kind of drag this up to 200, see what effect that did, what Ozone did to the wide bits, and then drag it down to 0, and then see what effect Ozone did to the middle bits, and so on, and then yeah, you got all your shit sorted out. 9-minute tutorial, pretty standard. Hopefully I did explain stuff, but I know I have a habit of just rambling on a lot and thinking I've told you stuff when I actually haven't. But so yeah, hit me up shit in the comments if I haven't explained it. But yeah, this is really, really important that you understand and use the stereo image and make stuff wide and make stuff not like central, because if you want to get your mix dialed, you can't just ignore it. This is just one of those things. It should be in part of like a huge series on how to mix, because it's one of 1,000 little mix tips, basically. Like, if you have like a little sound like this, that's kind of really quiet in your mix, yeah, like, if you simply make it wide and then kick the song back out, no one will notice the difference. But if you do 200 or 500 small tweaks to make it sound better, it will make a big difference to your track. So yeah, learn how to use it, and yeah, use Ozone basically. And if you've forgotten, my memory's really bad. Did I even show you how to like do the presets? I can't even remember. But yeah, to make stuff wide, drag Ozone in. Man, my memory's fucked. Choose stereo imaging on. Choose preset, either phasey width or widespread. And then if you want to get really advanced, you can kind of delve into the this stereo imaging tab a little bit more. You can see a lot with this vector scope, and you can do a lot with it, all kind of hidden away. But yeah, man, it's cool. So yeah, I've been Multiplier. This has been yet another probably semi-useless tutorial, but you know what? That's what I do. Apparently, some of you like them. So yeah, check me out. Links and shit to everything below. Try and follow my label, Relentik Records. First release dropped just under 2 months ago. Got a load of cool music coming out, and yeah, just buy all my shit on Beatport, or if not, actually it's more important, if you know a promoter or you're a promoter, can you just book me to play? I'm good. I'll give everyone a good time, and I need money, because otherwise I won't eat and I'll just be hungry and I'll moan on these videos that I'm hungry. Or if you just want to send me money, just send me an email and then send me some PayPal money or something via the internet and I can eat. And yeah, cool. So yeah, follow my shit. Recommend tutorials, because I'm running out of shit to say. Don't want to end up repeating myself. Cool. So have fun making shit wide. Bye.